Hi everyone, today I will be discussing the play Intimate Apparel. First question is discuss what was memorable about the play for you and why. To me, the most memorable aspect of the play was George actually showing up in Esther's life. I didn't think that the love letters would precipitate into anything further, and the fact that George actually came into Esther's life really surprised me. Another thing that surprised me was Esther ripping up her quill and giving her life savings to George. As much as she talks about her dreams and aspirations, I honestly didn't think that she would just throw away all her money to a man who didn't truly love her. The second question is identify three major points of tension or conflict in the play. The first major point of conflict would be monogamy versus adultery. Esther and George, prime example. George cheating on Esther with Mrs. Van Buren, and Mrs. Van Buren kissing Esther is an example of monogamy versus adultery. Wanting to be monogamous, but their behavior is not congruent. And the second major point of tension would be demographics versus aspirations. Mame, her economic status and being a stripper truly prevents her from becoming a pianist. Also, Esther following in the footsteps of her ancestors and serving as a seamstress rather than becoming an owner of a beauty parlor for African American women. And finally, the third point of conflict would be romance versus loneliness. Basically, the major theme throughout the play is the longing to be with someone, Esther giving money to George in order, believing that their relationship will work out for the best is an example of wanting to be with someone and proving that by giving away money. The third question is think of the three R's and what is the relationship of intimate apparel to the representation of the African American experience? I believe that the play reinforces stereotypes because the black women never truly reach their full potential within the play. An example would be Esther's how she is illiterate, and she inherits this from her ancestors. They weren't illiterate, or they weren't literate, so therefore she is illiterate as well. And this reinvents stereotypes because Esther wouldn't likely have the support of Mrs. March and Mrs. Van Buren because they are wealthy, white, socially upper class women. Finally, the fourth question, do stereotypes still exist today? I would say stereotypes continue to be perpetuated today because our mind is able to associate certain aspects. So we automatically classify certain objects. It's easy to group people for our brains. And also, despite activism, human nature, our mind still continues to use shortcuts as a way of classification. Thanks everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.